Well, hello everyone and welcome to the first part of this Let's Play Total War PHARAOH. Huge thanks for Creative Assembly for giving me access to play this super early, and so you can get as much information as possible as well, so you can work out if you want to buy it, which I think is such a great thing for them to do. Like, it saves me a little bit of money because I was going to buy it anyway. It lets me get early access, and so I'm super happy, and I can show it to you, and you can work out if you want to buy it or not buy it to save yourself money or to really enjoy yourself. It's, yeah, a win-win-win for everyone as far as I can see. And if you pre-order in this as well, you might actually have access to this at this point in time, because I'm pretty sure the pre-order play weekend is the same time as my embargo drop. So yous might have a couple of days where yous can play too, so let me know how yous have all been getting on and enjoying it if that is the case, if you already know you want to play it. But for those of you that are here to work that out, let's get in and play it, eh? Let's get in and play it. I've tested around a wee bit, and you can see all the factions here. Talsret, Sete, Ramesses, and Amenmesse, that's who we're going to be playing as. But let's just take a quick look at all the other factions. So these are the Egyptian heritage. I'm doing that because you can still become like the king of the Hittites as one of these characters, which I think is amazing. I really like the way they've sort of done it, how like anyone can go down any sort of roads. Like, you might take the biggest warmonger possible and just decide to be a builder and go down that sort of route. And also you might take Ramesses and try and become the Hittite king instead of becoming the Egyptian king. I just think that's really, really cool. Well, Pharaoh. Right, we've got the Canaanites here, Ursu and Bay, and that was a misclick. Hittites. We got Supalim, and Corinta. Murdering all them, but we're going to be playing as this guy, the Usurper.
I deal in blood and gold.
And this is another thing I really, really, really like about this game, is you can tell because it's a Bronze Age Total War, and I've actually been really enjoying it so far. Like Troy, I thought was once the novelty of it being Troy wore off, it just sort of felt very lackluster. It was probably my least favourite Total War I've ever played, but this feels like it's how Troy should have been, if you know what I mean. From what I've been playing so far, who knows? I might reach that point where I'm not enjoying PHARAOH as much. But yeah, I should also be careful because I'm getting very borderline to starting to give a review here. Which, I'm enjoying it so far, is basically all I should be saying. I might reach that point like I did with Troy, where it sort of got over that novelty aspect of it being PHARAOH, but I don't think it's going to go along those lines. I can't really say much more than that because we'll be getting borderline to review territory, but I'm enjoying it so far, what I've played. I'm allowed to say stuff like that, talk about my enjoyment, but I'm not allowed to give a full review as part of my embargo, and I feel like I've been cutting it pretty damn close there. But yeah, look, what was it I was talking about here? One of the things I really liked that got me into that sort of subject of me enjoying PHARAOH was the native units and the faction units. So these are sort of units that are unique to our faction. Like you see here, the Kushite Archer Militia, the Kushite Runners, like a Nubian Spearmen. So only our faction gets these, and there will be some sort of so yeah, these are sort of like your unique units from like your orcs from Warhammer, your legionnaires from Rome. They're your unique units. And then these are what's called native units, which is one of the things I really, really think sells the sort of Bronze Age sort of aspect of the game. They are units that any faction can recruit when they own this land. They're the units from this area. And I just think that's really cool. So if we come all the way up and we conquer the Hittite lands, we'll get access to the Hittite units. So you can sort of, again, tailor your faction, and it's sort of very fitting for the Bronze Age, because it's like the militaries weren't as established, it wasn't as mercenary-like, so to speak. Like in a modern military, everyone's a mercenary, so like compared to back these days, where it was more just protecting your homeland kind of thing. And yeah, it's kind of like when people describe the Roman army as the mercenaries invading people defending their homelands, like the Gauls, is one way to describe it. And we're getting distracted, we're not talking about the game. I just think this is really cool. Now, if we come up here, and if we swap to Ramesses for a second, we can see Ramesses' native units. we'd get access to them if we owned this land here, and I just think that's really, really cool. So yeah, down here you can see we own a lot of Nubian and Kushite lands. So we get like the elite, these sort of more elite Nubian and Kushite sort of professional soldiery, and then you've got them as the native units here. And then if we come up here and conquer there, we'll get like the basic units for that area, basic units for this area, and these are sort of elites, like the mercenary equivalents, the faction equivalents. I just think that's really cool. Now the usurper court position, he starts off with the Viceroy of Kush, which is a nice thing because I think is he the only faction, the Egyptian faction, that starts off with a court position. We start off with war with this faction. We get these unique buildings, the hidden rooms, which adds a lot of nice income and legitimacy. That is a really good, but it costs 80 gold in upkeep. But out of my experiment, and I have tried this faction for a split second, I have tried Tileset for a split second, I have tried you for a split second, I've tried you for a split second. Out of all of them, this guy is the only one that gets gold galore. Like, I think Tileset had access to gold earlier, or was it Ramesses? I can't remember. One of my other playthroughs got access to 1 gold mine, whereas this guy seems to have access to about 400 in comparison. So he does seem to be really good on the gold, and he does seem to have a lot of, like, as you see, gold labor mine village, extra gold income. So he does seem to be like the faction that has got a good control of gold, and then you can use that gold to get access to all of the resources. And yeah, because it's the Bronze Age Total War, the economy stuff sort of works like it does in Troy, which is one of the things I did like about Troy. Oh, we can see a full faction summary here. More gold from mines. Turn gold into legitimacy. Unique buildings, lore, influence sold. So that's their negative faction traits. We got the strongest archers and good defensive infantry, but we're weak at charging. So we're quite a defensive faction. Commands. Gain legitimacy with the golden masks. Reduce gold costs of units and buildings. So that's our command, our thing we can activate on the other side. Court, we can buy court actions with gold, and starting position, Viceroy of Kush. So we start off with a position, and we've got extra stuff. So yeah, native units, key concepts, outposts, yeah, equipment, yeah. We can get in and see all that as we're going. Hard, take what is yours. We spent too long yammering, I'm going to shut up, and we can start playing. Way too long yammering.
I am Meneptah. No, I am the great Pharaoh Meneptah. 10 years ago, I inherited the throne in the shadow of my father. The strong bull, the protector of Egypt, the chosen of Ra and beloved of Amun, the mighty Pharaoh, Ramses the Second. Egypt has flourished throughout my reign, but now I sense the eyes of Set upon me, and dark times are coming. But what will happen to my kingdom after my soul slips into the eternal lands of the afterlife?
A lesser son am I. My mother was a lesser wife, and her peoples, my peoples, Nubian blood. Are we any less Egyptian for it? So be it. Me and them understand each other perfectly with a single word. Gold. Blood betrays. Blood is tarnished. Gold is gold. It is with gold that I will remake the world in my likeness. Wasit awaits. There will be gold on my warriors' brows, on the wheels of my chariot, and on the blade of my axe. Everyone will see me coming, and no one will stop me.
The Viceroy of Kush takes care of Nubian and Kushite territories. He makes sure their mines sustain the wealth of Egypt and keeps the unruly warriors under the Pharaoh's heel. It is a proud and distinguished title bestowed upon worthy men. My son Amenmesse disagrees. I granted him dominion over our lands to the south, full of riches, and free for him to barter with or conquer. Yet all I receive in return is bitterness and resentment. The more his wealth and influence grows, the more dangerous he becomes. Amenmesse has no love for his brother Seti and his wife Tausret. He could stake his claim as a prince of Egypt by challenging his brother for the throne. Perhaps it was a mistake to send him so far from my oversight. Or perhaps his fortune is a message from great Amun. Could it be that one day this gold-kissed son of Egypt is destined to trade the title of Viceroy for the divine role of Pharaoh?
Yes, it is. Oh look, it shows us our unique stuff here. We've already read that. But yeah, let's get in and take a wee look-see at the Pharaoh. So we can take our first quick look at the map, I suppose. So we can see as it comes all the way up here, that's all of Egypt, and it comes over here into the future Holy Lands, and then up here to the Hittite Empire, well, kingdom, whatever, Hittites. With a very special little island that's full of resources there as well, but that's on the other side of the map. We're down here, so we're probably going to want a corner camp down here and then just start pushing our way up. Now, as you can see, all this wasteland here is destroyed, so we're going to have a lot of opportunity to colonize and grow as well as being a conqueror. We also need to think what type of campaign do we want to do? Do we want to do... well, we're going to do Egypt with them, definitely. I think if we wanted to become the king of the Hittites, we chose probably the worst faction on the complete other side of the map for that. It'd be a rather long exodus up to try and become the king of the Hittites. But I mean, well, so obviously we're doing Pharaoh, but I mean, like, what sort of campaign do we want to do? Do we want to be the builder and build monuments? Do we want to be the conqueror? And off the top of my head, to be honest, I can't remember the other two. There was another two. Empty outpost sites. So yeah, let's take a quick look. For those of you that don't know, outposts are a big thing in Pharaoh. So we got our settlements here, and they work kind of how they did in Warhammer. You've got this one area, and it has its 3 villages connected to it. Kind of like, I think it was Rome 2 that introduced that sort of thing. But they've brought outposts back, and every faction gets unique outposts, and then they've got their, like, there's
I just need to line the right
so you can build like a lookout post, which when armies interact, so armies travel across the land and interact with you, so you kind of want to hop between them. So if you come in, and we'll just quickly say, you build, it's going to be choices what you build these and where. Like, this one gives you influence, which will give you happiness, and people will like you more, and you'll have hold control of the settlements there more. It's kind of like the Chaos influence from Warhammer, except every faction has influence, not just Chaos. And it doesn't change the map depending on the influence. So yeah, influence is good. Or you could build the trading post, which is going to give you more resources produced in the region. There's the Egyptian way station, and the monument is monument's just legitimacy, which is you build a monument to your name, gives you legitimacy. You've got more chance of proving you're the pharaoh. Like, having the most legitimacy is basically how you become pharaoh. And then the way station basically allows your armies to travel faster and that sort of stuff. Then you've got the defensive ones, like the fort allows you to garrison an army there and to have reduced upkeep, and they will come to reinforce the settlement if they're not destroyed first. And then the lookout tower again gives you buffs on the defensive. So yeah, they're outposts. They can be really powerful, especially if you position them quite well. Obviously, they're already predetermined areas of the map. But they're just, I like having them back because it gives you other areas that you need to defend and protect, and it's one of the things that was really good about, was it Empire or was it Napoleon or was it both of them that had a similar sort of thing where when you had like areas of the map, and Shogun definitely did it, Shogun 2, where you had like your farms would be a location on the map, your this would be a location on the map, and it was kind of a pain when the AI were just running around ransacking them, but it kind of added to it at the same time. So it had its perks and it had its cons. And it's just nice we've not had a Total War that's had that in a while, mainly because Warhammer's been a big thing. So it's kind of nice just to have a different thing going on there. Alright, so speaking of which,
I will take what is
we can see we've got our general here, and we've got Nubian recruits, Kushite archer militia, and Kushite runners. So these seem to be spearmen. They also have javelins, like a couple of javelins, kind of similar to the pilum for the legionnaires. So they've only got, looks like 4 ammunition, so they've got 4 shots of it, so they've got like 4 pilums, and then they're mainly spear infantry. Then we've got their archers there, and then we've got our Nubian recruits. So we're a pretty foddery army. So, pray to Amun. At our outpost here, there's a church getting an extra 12% melee attack and extra experience from battle for all our units for 4 turns. It's probably going to be a huge boon, and we can see our buff right there. It's awesome! And especially how we can already see this guy's got Kushite spearmen recruits, Kushite archers, whereas we have the Nubian recruits and Kushite archer militia. Yeah, we've got like the downgraded version of those units. So having that buff will be worth its weight in gold. How do we do this? We do outnumber them as well. Balance of power slightly in our favour. So again, our character has a Kushite bronze axe, which makes his bodyguard stronger, as well as common light armour, whereas this guy has just a common sword. So yeah, let's jump in and do our first battle. Armor works really different in this game as well compared to any other Total War before. So I think we'll do a good little description of that before we start the battle too. Just for anyone that this is new, like not new to Total War, but new to this Total War. Like if you've not been following it. The weather plays a much bigger role. If you're coming from Warhammer, just think of everything that affects it a tiny bit. Like the weather doesn't really do anything in Total War Warhammer. I don't think there is even weather in it. But like, you know, like the terrain's not a big deal. This is not a big deal. That's not a big deal in Warhammer because it's more about the monsters. It's more about the unit variety. This is going back to more like a historical Total War where the weather plays a big deal, the terrain plays a big deal, like the little things play a big deal, and the unit, like basic human infantry, are a much bigger spread of unit styles. And so yeah, this is actually a big stuff. So we had, I think we're going to wait and hope for better weather. Sweatering will actually be good for us, I think, actually, now that I think about it, because he's got some medium infantry, whereas mine are all light. So that will actually make things harder for him. But if we could get one, we're stuck in a sandstorm. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that was kind of us fudging it up there.
These fools do not stand a chance.
But yeah, we'll take a look at this guy because he's our one heavier infantry unit with... Oh wait, no, he's got light armor, doesn't he? So we got our stances there, which is new, which is... yeah, your stances and other stuff are going to be a bigger deal here. But you can see there it's got... like that looks like a t-shirt, 100%. That's how much armor is remaining on the unit, and it's up here as well. I think the yellow part at the bottom's ammunition, the white one's morale, the green one's health. And then you can see this sort of other green, like there's the legs, which is how tired they are. Then the green t-shirt is their armor. Armor has its own health. So every time like the armor takes like a dent, like they get hit by an arrow, they get punched in the face, the armor will be degraded instead of the health. And units that have next to no armor piercing are just going to bounce off the armor and do no damage at all, really. But units like axes and maces are going to tear that armor to absolute shreds really fast. So I think it's maces specifically,
Make it happen.
which are unit details. Here we go. Expendable, raider, weight class light, good battle speed. Or is it axes?
Vengeance and victory.
Strong against shields. The axes are really good against shields. I think these guys,
Fighters of Nubia.
yeah, they're club and shield infantry. I think clubs are good against, what's really good against armor? I can't remember if it's club or armor piercing. Yeah, there it is there. Armor piercing weapons mostly ignore the target's armor, making them an ideal choice for heavily armored enemies. Often inflict less damage in total, making them less against good against light armored. Then these guys have got armor piercing too. Wait, no, that's still those guys. They've got the bonus versus large, which is basically those chariots in this game. So yeah, let's stick our Nubian light infantry as our primary force, because his primary spearmen will be similar. Then let's stick our leader and a spearman on the flank. Our other two spearmen on the flanks. And let's stick our 3 archers there like so. And then we're going to try and take the top of this hill before they do, because again, hill's going to be a big deal. Terrain's a big deal in this one. So you can see there that sand is going to have big debuffs on the units fighting on it. And units like light infantry are not going to be that bothered by sand. Another thing that's really, really cool and is really new to Total War PHARAOH is this sandstorm will actually change the map. Say we started off with just the weather was fine, and then we got this sandstorm. Like, areas of sand would start to appear and build up on the map. You can see this is basically June, so everywhere sand. But just imagine it was grassland and we got a sandstorm. Areas of sand will start to appear. There's the enemy. They were trying to take the hill fast too. You know what? Let's put it on slow motion so we can actually take a look at some of these units, because this is a... Yeah, you can see. Look at them. I love how they're bracing, trying to hide their heads from the sand. You can see they're doing the same there. So we can see the enemy, what they're doing now. We've taken the top of this hill. Let's get you over there. You can see the enemy general coming in here. There's nice feathery plumes.
Fighters of Nubia.
Oh, that's not what I meant to do. You stay there.
Fight with honor. Break their necks.
Let's bring you around the flanks. Let's bring you around the flanks.
The might of Nubia.
All my archers start attacking their archers. That'd be great, please.
Fighters of Nubia.
One unit of spearmen try and charge those archers. The other come attack these guys in the rear. And my general action's going to come around here like so.
Destroy them.
You are going to come over here and charge into the rear there. So as there you can see this guy's light armor, light infantry. So you can see his His armor's basically gone straight away. Like, he's fighting spearmen, but yeah, his armor is just going almost instantly. Whereas this guy's still got 66%. But because these are macemen, they're tearing the armor to shreds, and they're actually hurting them through it. So that's really good.
Power and pride.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Archers, where are you going?
Fighters of Nubia.
Let's just get a nice surround on them there. Which side's their shield on, actually? Yeah, I probably want the archers to come over more at this side. Archers over this side. There we go. So we've got a nice surround on these guys. You can see their armor's been torn to absolute shreds now. They only had medium armor, so it wasn't much. And then their health's just going to disintegrate once it's gone. Trying to fight in a sandstorm's not ideal. Their general's here, though. You can see he's taking a lot of damage from the archers. Actually going to take the archers, tell them to turn away now because they're probably going to do more damage to lightly armored troops than the enemy. And it looks like we've managed to wrap them up. Boom! So you can see from that there, strategy plays a much bigger role in this one than in Warhammer, so to speak. Warhammer is more... I'm trying to think of the word. It's not strategy, it's more... It's a different style of strategy. I say probably it'd be better to describe it as Warhammer's more strategy, this is more tactics. Like using the right unit for the right job, which again you could argue is Warhammer again, but it feels very different. I'm not 100% sure how to... Yeah, I'm going to have to be careful because I'm enjoying it. I'm trying to describe what the game's... I'm getting too close to a review, I think. We need to keep... Yeah, I'm going to stop talking about it because I think I'm getting too close to a review. Let's just... In battle, I've got to be careful that the video's not considered a review because then I'm breaking my embargo. The other thing to do with the embargo, I've got a lot to talk about. It's a new game! I'm excited! We're going at 1,000,000 miles per hour with the talking. Words I was looking for. I was going to talk about something. Yeah, the other thing I need to keep in mind is we cannot go past turn 60 for a few days. I can't remember when it is. I think like my first embargo drop is to turn 60. Then I think the second one, I wouldn't quote me on this, I'll need to check it up off screen some point, but I think it's like the 4th or the 5th of October my second embargo drop is, and that allows me to go up to turn 80. And then release day, obviously, like full embargo's gone. I think there's actually another one before then that's actually just my full embargo's gone. I can show anything at any point and I can do a review. That's the review drop embargo, which I'm not sure if that is release day or if that's a couple of days before. Again, I'm going to need to check. So I've got multiple embargo drops. So we can take extra foods. We'll talk about the resources in a second, but we're actually doing really fine for foods. I don't think we're really desperate for morale. I think we're going to take replenishment.
They will serve us well.
Boom!
I will take what is owed to me. By
So let's
any
take a
means.
look here. We didn't get any loot from that battle. At least I don't think we did. Actually, no, I think we may have got common medium shields. I don't think we had that before, did we? Let's just come in and see, is there events? Killed in battle. Gained a rank. Yeah, I don't see us gain any. Like, we must have had the shield already.
Ever wise.
So yeah, normally in battles you'll get a piece of gear, but that time we didn't get any. And then you can use that to change basically what stuff I give them here. So if I give them a mount, they'll become mounted bodyguards. If I give them this axe, you can see they become axe and shield. If I take that off and give them none, they become sword and shield, for example. We'll give him the axe back. As you can see, he's now got his armor piercing and bonus versus shields. He'll be great at taking out other generals, which is great because we don't really have much units for that. Pharaoh's crown or the King's crown, depending on what one you want to go for. Right, now these are assigned titles and your level ups in this. So every time you level up, you get to put a point into one of these 3 skills here: your presence, your fortitude, or your ardor. And as you can see, every time we get a level up in presence, it levels up like the bonuses it gives us. So every time you see every 5 levels, it gives you a double bonus, like an extra big bonus, so to speak. And then every level, like for presence, it reduces the upkeep of the army. So if I upkeep that once, it'll go up to -6%. If I upgrade it again, -8. Then every 5th level, the first bonus extra thing is at 5. It gives us 2 influence to the region he's in. And you can see it keeps on giving us that. Then boom, another 5. It'll give us a new. Grants the ability, do you know who you're fighting? It gives that buff to our bodyguards, which is going to give it gives them an effect, -10 morale to all enemies within 100 meters of them. And then it can keep going, and we can get all the way up to the top, and it prevents rebellion in the province. 10 morale, 5 influence, so as you can see it does upgrade the other ones. Does it upgrade as do you know who I am? Yep, it upgrades it to 150 meters instead of and it lasts longer and is got a better cooldown. So yeah, and then obviously here you can see some of these other ones. Melee defense for the army, I really like that, and then replenishment too. But then that's not the only thing. You need to have the correct stats to get some of this stuff. So Bite of Wadjet grants attribute shoot while moving for missile infantry. That could be really good. Wadjet, that always reminds me of the Age of Mythology game, where that was one of the mythical units you could build. It looked like a snake with wings, and it used to be a ranged spitting unit. It was a bit like a super archer. It was like a really strong version of an archer. Not the strongest unit, but good at killing infantry and droves and other stuff. But we're not here to talk about that. And then obviously you've got other big ones here you can do, which gives us gold income, and then gold in the province. So that'll be good for him if he's just going to be sitting in one area mining lots of gold. I kind of like the melee defense for the full army from Fortitude. And the movement, actually they're all really good. The upkeep, all 3 of these are actually really good. This one just makes your army stronger, this one makes your army cheaper, and this one makes your army faster at moving across the map. They've actually balanced this really well. I like all 3 trees. I like all 3 trees. We've only got 1 point to invest. And I would like to get one of these 3 things. Grants strong vigor to Kushite units and makes them tire out slower. Face an hour grants heat resistance to Nubian units. You would think they'd start off with heat resistance, actually being Nubian units. So it's going to be between this and this. So I think we're actually just going to put a point there for now, so we can get this. Then I think we may start going down the Fortitude. Or we may get them all to 4. What's this? Gold income, influence... Ah, that's not that great. Bronze upkeep, food upkeep, generals. Yeah, I'm not too keen on some of these ones. Ambush chance, max movement, adopt, labor cost. But yeah, we can change up what we're going to do with this guy at some point. So there's your place, view records. So we can see his effects and stats. Happy days. Right, we don't have the range to reach that settlement yet, it does not look like. So, we're going to head to the border, and we're going to recruit ourselves a couple of units. Let's get ourselves a couple of units of Nubian mercenary bowmen.
Awaiting the soldiers.
We've only got the 2 recruitment slots. That's our local recruitment and that special recruitment. That's like your legions of renown and all that from Warhammer. It's a bit like that. Right, now that that's done, let's work out what we're building this turn. Actually, you know what we're going to do over here as well? We're going to recruit ourselves a general over here. I think we're going to go after this guy.
The might of
The reason we're recruiting him is because I really want to take
attack them now.
this settlement over here, because we've got a destroyed settlement over here. And then we'll have this full... We'll start colonizing. We'll have this here. We could maybe then push up here. These ruins. And that'll give us another gold mine. We see we already start off with one. So what resources do we start off with? I suppose we should take a look at this. Because this is Total War Pharaoh and it's the Bronze Age, resources work differently. Things weren't as... Resources weren't as... defined by money. It was much more of a... The Bronze Age was much more of a barter time. Like, you give me some wood and I'll give you some food. Gold was a currency, but it wasn't as universal. Not as much had been mined, and it was much more common, like... Food was much more common as, like, a currency. So you can see here we've got resource food and wood, and actually if we come in and take a look at our, like, upkeep as well for our units,
Firstborn son.
we can see a lot of these cheaper units just have food as upkeep. These guys have bronze upkeep as well for these archers here. They're tier 3 units. So yeah, it's not surprising that they have other resources upkeeps as well. And everything costs like a different amount of stuff. So like upgrading your settlement will cost a lot of stone, whereas upgrading your army may cost a lot of bronze. And then you've got gold as well, but it's not... Gold is not just like raw money and it is in Total Wars. It's like you've got a food money, you've got a stone money, you've got a... It's very split up and I really quite like it. So let's just take a look. So we've got a gold settlement here, a food settlement here, food settlement, and then we're going to be able to get a stone and a bronze. Oh yes, conquering that will give us access to all the basic resources, which is going to be chef's kiss. And yeah, that's all good, right? Tech tree. Here is the tech tree. Right. I would really like to start increasing the amount of resources we get. So I think if we go to longer harvest, what have we got so far? We've got experience per turn, faction wide, influence +1, or happiness +3. Yeah, I think we're going to go for the happiness +3, as I said before, because from playing this before, I remember there's a lot of resource plus buildings here. And if we focus heavily on the economy for initially, that we can then powerhouse our way through, or steamroll our rest of the way through. So we can see heroic major, all the different victory conditions here, conquest, feats of rule, a mighty ruler, 15 undiscovered plus 18 undiscovered, landmarks and ambitions. So yeah, there's the 4 victory conditions, and you need 60 points and then 110 points. So you can see you can get 41 from landmarks, 76 from victory. So yes. Diplomacy, we don't really need diplomacy right now, but yeah, you can trade, and it's going to be much more of a wheeling dealing kind of things. Like, so when we're really low on stone but got plenty of food, we might find a faction that is not really needing their stone. We can come talk to them.
Son of
They're not interested in stone, but they are really interested in gold and bronze, so maybe if we offer to give them some gold and bronze, they'd give us some stone, which we're going to have to do a lot of that early game when we've got a lot of resources we're trying to fine-tune and work our economy. But yeah, I think all we need to do buildings now. We've not been building, we've just been talking about Total War, which is really good. But yeah, let's see now. I think we're going to want some form of recruitment building here. That's our native muster fields, which allows us to recruit the native units around here. And this is our faction recruitment building for infantry, our faction recruitment building for archers, and our faction recruitment building for chariots. I would like chariots. Chariots are really powerful, but we do not have the ability to upgrade that as of yet. Because we've got need workforce. Growth works differently in this as well. If we scroll over, you'll see, because again, it's Bronze Age, population wasn't in as big a surplus. You couldn't just build a building and expect there to be workers there. You'd need the spare workforce. So growth is not like the other Total Wars where growth, you basically just, your main settlement building, you need growth for every building, but you get it a much faster. And then you can see actually if you've got an overflowing ton of workforce, it gives you extra recruitment slots, but it does decrease the happiness, so you're going to need more happiness buildings. So for a recruitment area, you're probably going to want to keep this pretty high, and but have happiness buildings at the same time. Right, so I think maybe we got access to this over in the north, so I think maybe we build this here for now. That's used up quite a bit of our stone, and it's used up all our workforce here. We've only got 1 spare workforce, but down here we've got 5. We have 5, so I think we probably want to increase that up. And you know what, we could get more wood. 10 more wood for free workers, that's not too much. I'm almost tempted to delete this. We can use this as like a money making area, a resource gaining area. We're going to have a lot of gold. So if we just focus gold in this area, I think that could be quite good. There's our unique building. We'd lose 35 gold, but we'd gain 30 bronze, 25. Yeah, I think that's going to be really good actually. We're going to build one of them there. And we have used up pretty much all our workforce. Here we're getting a lot of food. Let's come here and we'll take a look at our outposts here, though, in our capital. I think at least one of them, we're going to want it to be an Egyptian trading post. And this is in the middle of our area, so I'm not too worried about its location. But yeah, we see we're already down to 495 stone, and we do not have a stone income. We do have a good amount of gold, so maybe we do want to go back and trade.
All will remember me.
Right. Let's negotiate
you are
with
more
him.
than welcome here.
Let's do a barter agreement for 10 turns. What happens if you give me 200 stone and I give you 40 gold a turn? Oh, he likes that. 30 gold a turn? 20 gold a turn? Does not like that. 25 gold a turn? There we go. So it's going to cost me 25 of my gold a turn, but he's going to give me 200 stone a turn for 10 turns. And there we go. That will give us a stone income because we do not have one right now.
We will achieve great things.
Boom! Wheeling and dealing. Now we have a 200 stone income for a while. And it only cost us 25 gold a turn. Which is, yeah, a pittance for us. But once we've built that other building, that's going to be... Go back to settlements. That's going to cost us another 35 gold a turn. Yeah, it'd be better to trade for it than to build that building at the rate of exchange. But again, then once we get that built up in a few places, we're going to be swimming with gold. Because once we colonize here, we're going to have another gold thing. We can upgrade this, get a lot more gold. Yeah, we're not too worried about gold. We've got tons. Right, 3 pending actions. 1 construction available. Resource, happiness, and favor. Yeah, I think we're actually just happy with that. End turn! Right. So we can see conquest, we got a load of progress towards that because it just calculated our starting settlements.
Ruler of Kush.
So what's this? It's an empty outpost. It's an empty outpost. There's no point ransacking
Golden
them.
Prince. Fortune ahead.
Let's see. They've brought that unit army there. So there's 6 plus 5. There's going to be 11 of them.
Curiosity killed the lion cub.
Curiosity killed the lion cub.
Nubia is mine, always.
This could be rather hard. Especially how he's going to have 2 general units. They're going to be quite strong. And he's got better quality troops than us. And he's going to have the bonuses from being a defender. We can scout the terrain. But I think what we do is I think I take a quick save. And we try and win this at the start of next part. Because this will be a part. We've made it the length of 1.5 long. But that's us finally got through the bulk of the explaining what's new sort of stuff. We can get in and start playing proper now. We've taken a quick look at all the stuff. as we've been playing, I think we borderline got close to saying being too close to a review, but I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm finding it a lot of fun. It is, in many ways, it's a breath of fresh air playing PHARAOH, because I'm just Total War Warhammer. We've been Total War Warhammer, Total War Warhammer, Total War Warhammer, and it's more of the same, if you know what I mean. And we've had a lot of Total War Warhammer. I love Total War Warhammer, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love it. I've got thousands of hours playing it. But when it's been the mainstay of Total War for that long, and all the other entries have just felt subpar in comparison. Three Kingdoms was a good breath of fresh air, like similar sort of aspect, but again, yeah, so not including Three Kingdoms, it's been mainly Warhammer that's been getting the sort of limelight. We took a quick save, didn't we? And this just feels about as opposite of a Total War to Warhammer as possible, so I'm really, really enjoying that sort of aspect of it, and I want to see if that continues, which I'm just going to need several hundred hours in the game to see if it does, but at the moment I think it's going to. And so I'd say this is looking good so far to me. It's looking good. Borderline review again, but we're not doing a review. I've got to try and curb and rein that in a wee bit. So yes, hope you have all enjoyed it. I shall see you all next time. Bye.